Hey, what's up, class? Whoops, that's the video I'm going to replace this one with. So I just wanted to give you like a quick, kind of reminder of what you're doing. So you guys are going to read Act 4 this week, okay? Group A, we're going to start reading in class. We're going to read some parts of it together and talk about it, but we should hopefully have time to get up to the line, "It is evil and I do it." Group B, I want you to read up to page 128 in the Black Book. That is up to the line, "It is evil and I do it." It's right after Proctor does a very important thing after talking with his wife. What I want you to focus on are some symbols. Okay, so as you read, you should notice dialogue and images with strong connotations, right? Words that have a lot of feelings. And you can click on this, you can click on these links to help you. I also want you to notice like symbolic meaning. Remember from the last video above, what happens to the characters is in part symbolic of what happens to the ideas the characters represent. So if a character represents greed, what happens to them is how society either does or ought to treat greed. What happens to the government is what ought or should happen to the government. How somebody responds to power is symbolic of how we, as moral beings, ought to respond to power. And what happens to the society is symbolic of what happens when people don't uphold or do uphold, depends on your interpretation, the social contract. You're also going to want to notice literal symbols, okay? So you're going to notice stuff. Well, actually, I'm not going to give it away. You can click this if it's helpful. You will notice different symbols in the text. This links to a Quizlet it'll help you out. Also, if you need help like seeing what's important, click on that Quizlet. It'll help you out. I promise. I don't give you things that won't. You should also you should notice what's significant about Proctor's last lines, "my name," and then sync them with it. Right? It starts with, you'll see it. Okay. Proctor's name, and indeed all of our names, represents, or one interpretation is that it represents reputation. Right? Just like Abigail's name was soiled, just like Elizabeth's name was, or just as Proctor's name was synonymous with like honesty and being reliable, just like Goody Nurse's name was synonymous with being the brick and mortar of the church, just like Paris's name was synonymous in the upright villagers' minds as greed. Like names have come up a lot. Okay, so notice what Proctor says and does with his, because that might represent what we say and do with our reputation. As always, there's an audiobook here. It is just Act 4. My goal is for this whole activity to only take you about 25 minutes. Okay? It's about 20 minutes if you just read Act 4 straight through with the audiobook. However, the audiobook does not read the stage directions. So if you just listen, you might not be able to follow what's going on. But if you read as you listen, you will get a picture in your head. And I figured about 5 minutes to like jot down some notes. Your notes should, I like doing them on post-its, but your notes should focus on like that connotation analysis we did, a symbol analysis, which is pretty much identical to the connotation analysis, except with like some kind of symbol you notice. And anything you felt significant about Proctor's last line. So it could be connotations in that, or it could be symbols you noticed in that. Okay. Um, that should be enough. You have everything you need to help you. You do. And I know that you guys can be successful.